All right, 2113 podcast, September the 8th? Yeah, Wednesday. Yesterday was feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary, also the feast day of Our Lady of Victories, as it used to be known, after the Battle of Lepanto, things I'm learning yesterday. Pretty amazing stuff. It's been a minute since I've been on a podcast. I did shoot one short last Wednesday on the feast day of St. Therese of Lisieux. I was down in Royal Oak at the shrine of the Little Flower Basilica in Royal Oak there, where St. Therese's reliquary has been on pilgrimage, I guess. I don't know if the shrine actually, or the reliquary goes on pilgrimage. Either way, it's in the U.S. now for a number of days. This was an event that I've been looking forward to for some time, a few months. I know her autobiography, Story of a Soul, is one of the favorites among Catholic Christians, and rightfully so. I know the first time that I had been recommended that book and her story, it didn't really grasp me. It truly didn't. I recall reading it at the parish library, and I think I read through the first 3 or 4 pages, and it just didn't really grab me. And Brother Knight had recommended it sometime later after that, maybe a good 9, 10 months later, and I set in earnest to read through it, and it really did grasp me. And uh, I know I mentioned in one of the previous podcasts how I don't, aside from the confessions, and now I truly believe after reading through Story of a Soul 3 times now, I feel that both Augustine's Confessions and Story of a Soul really do give you an insight to an individual's working through the gift of grace and one's response to that. And I must believe, after stating that in the last podcast or a couple of podcasts ago, that I must believe that almost every biography, or, I mean, I guess I would only be looking for the autobiographical tale of one's struggle and how they're working through it. Either that or one extremely close to the individual that maybe that person working through their faith and the practice thereof would be confiding with that individual. And but I've really been reflecting on that and thinking, like, well, how foolish of me to think that I'm the only one putting this kind of stuff out there, and that'd be silly to even think that. But it obviously it's personal to me because I'm going through it. But man, last Wednesday, such graces bestowed on me. I just felt the Lord working down there, and it was fantastic. I did record a short, and in my infancy of the YouTube studio-ness, it got some ridiculous amount of views in like 24 hours. Like, I know this is silly to me, but like 1,600 views. And I'd seen there was 2 copies of it in the YouTube studio, and I deleted the one because I'm like, why is there 2? And it got rid of both of them. So I did happen to visit again yesterday on the Feast of the Holy Rosary, just because, like I had said last Wednesday when I was down there, man, I just felt in the presence of the Lord, and it was amazing. Lots of great interactions with total strangers down there, and it was a grace-filled afternoon and evening. Had the privilege of participating in the sacrament of reconciliation with their parish priest, or one of their parish priests. Prayed before the Lord in the tabernacle for a while, read my Bible. I mean, I think I was down there for a good 4.5 hours, went to Mass at 7 p.m., which was presided over by the new Archbishop of Detroit, Weisenberger, I believe. I keep messing his name up. My understanding is that the previous Archbishop of Detroit had presided over the afternoon Mass, but That Mass at 7 p.m. was beautiful. The procession was great. They had rose petals falling down from the ceiling, which after the Mass, I did pick up a half dozen or so of those and, put those amongst my items that I brought down there to become third class relics. I purchased a number of medals, and I took my Bible and my rosary down there and purchased some prayer cards and things like that. It was just wonderful, prayed a decade of the rosary, and that was something, I have this rosary that was gifted to me, and it was one of my cherished rosaries, and it had broken, so I gave it to the individual that had made it for me, and she graciously fixed it for me, and I had it to go down there. And now this is a third class relic of Saint Therese. But this month of this month of October being dedicated to the Holy Rosary, I've been on a tear. I go through these fits where I'm able to pray the Rosary for an extended period of consecutive days. And then I'll go through a drought where I just don't find the time, or make the time would be better. But the reason I'm in the suit is we had a brother Knight pass away, and we said the Rosary at his showing this evening. And I did pray the Rosary yesterday at the shrine. And actually, I took my father's mother's rosary down there, which I never had the privilege of knowing her faith, or even that of my father's, truly. But her rosary I had found in some of her art items or artifacts, not art items, going through, found some brooches and some little, Catholic trinkets, prayer cards from her husband's funeral and some of her relatives. And, I found a rosary. I'm not certain if this was like her daily rosary or one that she prayed often, or it's not elegant or fancy. It's much too long for my liking, but the medal on it was of Saint Therese of Lisieux. So I took that down there yesterday, and now it is also a third class relic. And, something that I was thinking about while praying on my rosary down there yesterday was, obviously this cloud of witnesses and the saints and our family members and loved ones being more alive in heaven than they are here on earth. And just thinking that, I'm praying my rosary with my grandmother, my father, Saint Therese, the Blessed Mother, all to our Heavenly Father through Jesus. And, just thinking about that and how beautiful that is to have that one shared faith and be able to give God glory unified like that. It really, really moved me. And I'm just so grateful for so many different things. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to have this podcast. And I did reach out to the mother of a young man who I had catechized some time ago to inquire to see if he would like to come down here and run the switchboard. And my eldest daughter, she was there. She's kind of like, well, what's wrong? Why can't I? Well, I thought maybe it'd be good for a young man to, being as, the focus of this podcast for the better part. I know there'll be, opportunities for women to be on here too, but I want to provide that example for young men or even men of my age to hear some of the stories from our elders, their experiences and examples of how they've overcome trials and lived their faith. But we'll see if he's down here. I know I got to get somebody in here. You guys are probably bored listening to me ramble. I know I really appreciate it, just being able to work through and talk about things that I'm experiencing. Most notably being these pilgrimages that I've went on yesterday and then again last week. But man, how wonderful our faith is. And so continue trudging forward. You guys carry your cross, pick up your cross, don't pick your cross. Little Jeff Havens action there. But God willing, I'm going to continue to stay on the streak of praying my rosary and meditating on those mysteries daily. I know Matt Fradd had posted a video yesterday of, how you can pray through multiple rosaries in a day, kind of cutting out some of the prayers in between, albeit the Fatima prayer or, even the Salve at the end, just to really run through it. But, it's just really meditating on those mysteries. And I'm starting to get back into the swing of it and being able to really dial in. And I'm excited for it. I really am. I think it's been since Lent that I've prayed the rosary consecutive days, and I've missed it. That's for sure. And it's nice to have my rosary back. The rosaries I've been praying on, and it's not the rosary itself, but this one just it feels great in my hand. I love these glass beads, and obviously there's a little sentimental touch to it as well, but just to be able to pray with our mother, and concentrate on her life and experience with Jesus Christ, and obviously how I can imagine myself in those same situations, and how I can learn from Jesus Christ, the archetype, aside obviously from him being the Son of God, and just really enter into those mysteries. And man, how I've missed it. And it's wonderful. I might take Henry on a walk and pray another set of mysteries. I don't know. We'll see. I got dinner cooking upstairs, and I wanted to get on here again while I was all sharply dressed before I put on street clothes, so to speak. And gonna let these podcasts continue to run, guys. Hopefully get some more shorts out there. And I'm trying to implement some editing techniques, and maybe that intro screen and outro to stop me from walking in front of you guys. And we'll just see how this grows and gets going. And Lord willing, it will be fruitful. So I'm grateful and I'm blessed, and I hope all of you guys are sharing in those blessings and participating in the sacraments as often as possible. Get those graces. Get what is the word I'm looking for? Dispose yourself to receive the graces. Put yourself in the situation, the predicament to receive the graces the Lord wants to bestow on you. Read Scripture, study the Catechism. Cut out anything that's not of the Lord or serving Him. Let's get on that little way, man, and everything that we're doing, let's do it to the glory of God. This is Lydia, everyone. God bless you guys. Thank you all for watching.